The countdown to ACC kickoff is real, and we are super excited to just go over each team and the expectations they have going into this season. What are the burning questions that we have for these programs? But more importantly, we're going to read your comments. Let's see what you talk about in today's episode.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's edition of Locked On ACC. I'm your host, Candace Cooper, joined by Kenton Gibbs of Locked On Wolfpack. I'd like to thank LinkedIn Jobs for being the official college football recruiting sponsor across the Locked On College Network. LinkedIn Jobs help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions do apply. Rocking and rolling here. Kenton, feeling good about the weekend, getting excited for ACC Media Day, which is also known as ACC Kickoff. Football season is finally upon us. You know, all the weddings are out of the way, all the baby showers are out of the way. Now we can just focus on football.
Are they?
Are they?
Are baby showers and weddings ever truly out of the way? As much
Well,
as
I
we hope
guess,
they are.
yeah.
Our
Can we
non-athletic
attend them?
friends, exactly. Our non-athletic friends will always say, a baby shower in December seems appropriate. Ma'am, it's conference championship time, okay?
Right.
You
It's
and that
pretty.
baby are important, but state ain't won one since before I was born. And if they're in it, you best believe I'm not going to be at your baby shower. Just let you know.
Lord have mercy. I've already decided I gotta get married in like March or April, more like April, because basketball season will be over too. Like I feel like that's a safe month to get things done.
You know, absolutely. Especially when you mess around with the ACC, you know what I mean? Like, as much as all the realignment has revolved around football, we know, as much as Swafford wants, no, it's not Swafford now, is it?
Right. Let it
It's,
go.
who's
My boy
Manila?
Swafford, Jim Phillips.
Phillips. As much as
Yes.
Phillips wants football to carry the water, we know in the ACC, in terms of winning percentage, in terms of toughest conference, we all know men's and women's basketball carry that water. So, you know, that's a safer month, maybe. I mean,
Maybe.
March, April, maybe is safe with us with ACC.
Are you trying to phonetically like hint at May, or like are you just being maybe saying that?
I mean, listen, it's your life. It's your way. I can't tell you when to do your way. You feel me? But I'm just saying, if you're trying to avoid when there will be important sports for the ACC, I feel like May, June-ish would be July is definitely a dead time. You know what I mean? Right before ACC Media Days and kickoff. That'd be a great time to get it in.
July feels like it's hot as hell to have a wedding, but that's just me.
But again, that's everybody got their own thing. All I know is in this place of Raleigh, North Carolina, if my old lady want to get married here, if she want to get married anywhere south of here, it better be indoors. I don't know what I'm a Midwestern guy now. I'm a Detroiter through and through. I can't be out here in this heat,
I
trying
mean,
to
you're a
put
former
clothes
football
on.
player, so you're used to all of that.
Listen, these people don't want to hear about our future, the different ways that you and I are going to want to do marriage with whoever we choose to do it in the future. They don't want to hear about that. They want to hear about some ACC football and the kickoff that's coming. That's what they want to hear about. So let's stay on task here.
Well, damn, you couldn't even let me transition, but that's cool. That's fine. Totally fine. What I was going to say is you're used to the elements, you're used to football. And so we're going to get into this ACC kickoff conversation. But, if you want to run the show, go for it.
Listen, the worst part about football for me, everybody doesn't believe me when I say this, especially with how much I got injured toward the end of my career. The worst part about football for me was being hot and dirty. That was it. Those were the two things that the only things that when people would say like, oh man, like the game is so perfect. If there's anything you could change about it, when people look at cold weather games, it's like, that's football weather. I'm with you. That right there is football weather. Anything hotter than about 70, 80, that's not football weather no more. That's relaxing weather. That's getting a dome weather. That's weather control. That's what that weather is to me.
No worries. Well, it's about to get hot and dirty as we head to ACC Kickoff. Registration opens on July 19th, but we'll have interviews all day on July 20th and July 21st, that Wednesday and Thursday. It'll be a grand time for what will be a very exciting days really for the Coastal and Atlantic teams. So this will be the last year that we have the Coastal and Atlantic, split, right? And then we'll eventually get to that one division. It'll be interesting to see how they divvy up the teams from that regard. But as it stands, we'll have the Atlantic teams on Wednesday and the Coastal teams on Thursday. So just a housekeeping note for you guys who follow closely to the Locked On ACC podcast. We've got Kenton Gibbs going. We've got the Locked On Syracuse guys going down to ACC Kickoff. So, of course, we'll do like a meetup there. We're also going to give you good coverage. What are the guys talking about? What are the coaches talking about? It's going to be a great opportunity to hear from the horses' mouths what they're excited for and ready for the season. So we'll give you all of those sound bites. We'll give you some recap. It's going to be a good couple days to me of great content. So just to let y'all know that. So make sure you're following us at Locked On ACC and you're following at Candace Cooper or at TGIF_Kenton, or you can follow at Locked On Wolfpack. So many follows. So there's that. But to break it down, Wednesday, Atlantic teams, your favorite, former NC State star yourself, as you're looking at ACC Kickoff. And last season, I could say from a North Carolina standpoint, there was a big target on the team in Chapel Hill. But let's start with NC State, who to me has the biggest, hey, we're here, we're ready, this is our season moment going into the 2022 year. We've got head coach Dave Doran. He's ready to give us something good, followed by his guys who are going to make, head turning with Devin Leary, Isaiah Moore, and Drake Thomas. So how are you feeling about NC State, and what are the couple things for the fans that they can expect to hear from these guys, or more importantly, what you hope to hear from these players and coach?
First of all, calling me a former NC State star was extremely generous. I appreciate it, though. I really and truly do. But
Fun fact about Kenton. Let's talk about the fact that Kenton gave Coach Doran his first ever ACC win. He secured that win for him. Okay, no, listen, we give stars on this show. Okay, listen, every time I speak, someone's always dropping my nugget of being the first African American female to swim in Carolina. So I'm going to give my stars where I can give them. So hush.
I appreciate it. And anyway, what do the fans want to hear? I don't know. It's such an interesting question because there are so many different aspects to this, and it's a very complex and nuanced situation. Because let's just be honest, right? The first situation is, number one, how have you become the hunted without winning as the hunter? How did that work out? Like, how did you all of a sudden become a team that people are looking at as a serious contender without having ever truly unseated the champs? Even if you say, well, you unseated Clemson and they were the big dogs on the block. Sure, you beat Clemson. You didn't win the Atlantic. You definitely didn't win the ACC if you didn't win your division. So how is it now like y'all are the favorites? I think that Clemson is still the decided favorites in the Atlantic. But now that brings me to, what do the fans want to hear? It's genuinely a perplexing case, and it has to go fan by fan, because of course there are going to be those fans that say, lean into it. And I'll tell you, I'm one of the people that's like, listen, at this point, lean into who you are, because NC State has tried for a very long time to downplay any expectations because they fall short. But I believe that those two things possibly have a correlation to one another. And at this point, listen, being humble and saying, oh, we're just the old shucks, we're just the old guys over in Raleigh, and we're going to do our darndest, that's not getting it done. So at this point in time, hey, you might as well walk in there. You know what? Y'all expect us to win? Good. We expect us to win. Let's see how it goes. You know what I mean? So there are the fans who want to hear that. And then there are also the fans who want to hear the whole, it's a year where we got a lot of guys here. We're going to do our best. We got a lot of experience back. We got a lot of guys back. We should make a lot of rookie mistakes. And we'll see where the chips fall from there. But we're going to control what we can control to keep it pushing. You've got different types of fans that want to hear different types of things. But Wolfpack Nation is a very eclectic and interesting fan base. And to say that they want to hear one thing, there are certain fan bases that I know exactly what they want to hear and who they want to hear it from. But with NC State fans, it's as long as the main guys are there, I think they'll be happy.
I really got to decipher this because I want to break down a couple points that you made. But first, I want to remind you guys that as the sun comes out and small businesses are back we got to make sure that LinkedIn Jobs makes it easier for you to grow your team. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the people you want to interview faster and for free. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Don't sleep. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/locked on. And linkedin.com/locked on will give you a free job posting, but terms and conditions do apply. We're rocking and rolling here with Kenton Gibbs of Locked On Wolfpack, and of course, talking about the first day of ACC kickoff and the Atlantic teams being on deck. NC State has a target on its back, but according to Kenton, basically, I feel like you're trying to call everyone's bluff. Like, what is the hype about if you haven't won anything? It's not worth all the hype that's surrounding it. And I'm sitting here saying, well, if you got all the guys who are coming back and they're really feeling themselves in terms of maturity, understanding what it takes, getting certain monkeys off your back by beating Clemson, why not feel like you guys are the team to beat?
I mean, again, it's very simple to me. My idea is flatly that if you're going to show up with that attitude, I'll tell you this, okay? In Dave Doran's second season, 2014, okay, we're going to play Chapel Hill in Chapel Hill, all right? And Hakeem Jones, starting safety. Now, he was a star. That's a Wolfpack star right there. Hakeem Jones said of, I believe it was Marquise Williams, who was UNC's quarterback at the time. He said, I mean, he's a front runner. He's soft. If you hit him a few times, he'll slow down and he'll break. Now, publicly, of course, Doran wasn't like, yeah, he's right. That's my guy, da-da-da. But in that meeting room, Doran said, hey, Hakeem, if you're going to say that, you got to back it up. And the defense got rowdy. And Hakeem got routed. The defense got routed. It was like, this is what we doing. This is just how we go. This is how we rock it. Now, granted, that delivered Doran's first ever win over the boys in baby blue. And again, there's many different ways you can go about this. There's many different.
So, are you saying talk is cheap in regards to we can give all the accolades and all the hype in the world, but until you actually deliver it, what is it for?
I'm gonna quote Dave Doran to talk about Dave Doran. Hey, if you're gonna say it, you got to back it up. If this is the thing of why this is such a nuanced thing, because I have not heard any NC State player say we're winning the ACC next year. This is our division. Everybody else is just living in it. I haven't heard anybody say anything remotely close to we should be the favorites. But
so are they the wolves in the wings who are just sitting there waiting for their turn? Like, they're not going to be super vocal. They're just putting in the work.
I think that they're the hunters again. I think that they have the mentality of the hunters because, again, if I know anything about Doran, if I know anything about Thunder, if I know anything about that program, I know that until there's a ring that says ACC champs, I highly doubt that there will be a mentality and attitude of, hey, we're the big dogs on the block. Like, until that ring is there, it's just, hey, we're another guy on the block trying to earn our spot. And that's what it, that's what it is. So
cool. So y'all just the puppies on the porch. I got it. I get it.
See, that's not you see, Locked On ACC listeners, this is what happens when you talk about whooping up on they folks and taking the little palm. What's the little leaves that they got around the field? The little bushes. The little bushes y'all got. Well, anyway, we took them. Everybody had one, and we was chewing on it when we left. But that's the point there. That's the point.
Cool.
That's how it goes when you talk about her precious Tar Heels. That's how I roll.
I was just sitting here trying to finish your whole analogy there. So I was just trying to make sure that if we were going to go colloquialisms here, if you're not the big dog, you're the puppy on the porch. But anywho, I say all that to say NC State clearly is a favorite, but there are other teams in the Atlantic Division on the first day that we're going to have to hear from. And Clemson is a team that clearly didn't have the season that they wanted to, but pretty much have been the champions for the past 6-7 years. Give me something, Dabo. Give me something, DJ. I need to hear from y'all and be sincerely convinced that, one, you're going to actually bring something to the table this year, and I can get back to you elevate the conference right now. Like, your game being great means the ACC looks great. So that's why I want Clemson to have a good season.
I mean, I feel that to an extent, but I'm going to tell you this. The ACC last year was better than multiple years where Clemson won the ACC championship. And this is not a knock against Clemson to say, you all lost, so now the conference is good. No, if you really look at the conference top to top to bottom, even if you look at the top teams in the conference, they struggled against teams that were middle of the pack. If I'm incorrect here, please let me know. But didn't the boys in Baby Blue beat Wake Forest last year?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. This was a conference where it was not just all right, these are the guys. This is the one team, and everybody else is just the
But you know
worst.
that team that has the monkey on the back, like for me, Wake Forest, that was the monkey for them. Like Carolina is their monkey. Y'all had NC State had Clemson, right? So I think there were just certain games, and then for y'all, I thought it was the Miami game where it was the head scratcher. Like if I could just have that one back, even the Wake Forest game, if I could have that one back for NC State.
Of course. But what I'm saying here is that this conference, at the end of the day, those head scratching games, while we look at it from the outside as a head scratcher, the teams participating in it, especially the team that won, looked at it as, I beg your pardon, this is what we were supposed to do. We showed up and did what we were supposed to do. So to me, a conference with parity is better than seeing one team be landslide better. And again, this is not a knock against Clemson. If Clemson comes back and is back to what we thought they were going to be last year, DJ is playing like a top 5 pick. The running game is going out of control. The defense stays healthy, and they knocking heads off left and right. But the rest of the conference holds as what they are. NC State holds and plays well. You got Miami, who everybody believes is going to be good. They play well. You got a lot of teams who are question mark, but they're kind of middle of the road. If a Louisville team that's kind of middling plays well, then this will still be a good conference. So the question for Clemson becomes, are you ready to reclaim what you believe is yours with what is basically an all-new cast? The receivers from all those championship teams, gone. The back from all those championship teams, gone. Skalski, who was on all those championship teams, he was on about what? Skalski was in college since you were there, Kansas. Kansas.
First of all, don't disrespect me. Don't disrespect me.
I'm just saying that man been in college since before I had hair on my chest. You understand? Jay Skalski he loved him some college now. He said it's the best 10 years of my life. I'm gonna take advantage of this decade. But anywho, with that being said, I mean, the reality is for Clemson, you don't win or lose the championship on media day. Y'all got to go out there and do the work. You got to go out there and show the rest of the conference. There is not the same sense of fear when you got Clemson on the schedule. They're in the same sense of, all right, well, Clemson's coming through. Let's go ahead and pencil an L. Not saying that we ever had that when I played, but I'm saying that I know, trust me, I got friends that played at other schools in the ACC, and I knew there were multiple teams where when Clemson came up, all right, go ahead, pencil an L in. 11-1 season is possible. Ain't played a snap of football yet. Yeah, 11-1. We can do that. We can do that. So, I mean, this is up to Clemson to go re-earn your title, go re-earn the throne that you sat upon for so long. Because I want to say it was the movie 300, and they were talking about Xerxes, and they said, how do you make people stop believing in the God? You simply make them bleed. Well, this year, or last year rather, was Clemson's year to bleed. Now, let's see what they really are in terms of, is this a bounce back season? I don't know. Losing 2 coordinators, losing all those guys to the NFL, it's tough, but we're going to see.
Yeah, 100% agree. The last team in the Atlantic that I wanted to touch on here was the Wake Forest team that almost went undefeated last year, who, of course, represented the Atlantic in the ACC championship game. Fell short, but you also have Sam Hartman, who is on his Skalski track, who's here for year 6.5. Mm-hmm. Now, this is his absolute last chance. And to me, you still have A.T. Perry. You still have a defense that has gotten a year older. And you have a coach who is very good at what he does, and a team that's very sound in terms of minimal mistakes and what have you. So, as much as we go through the season and always analyze the Clemsons of the world and what's the coastal, how crazy it's going to be, Wake Forest to me is just the team in the last few seasons that have been so consistent. Whether it's there's some head scratchers where we probably should have kept that one. The couple games against Carolina are definitely ones you want back. But Wake Forest is a very solid team with a very good coach who is committed to that university. So for what I want, I would love to see Wake Forest have the same type of strong season as they did last year.
Let me tell you something. That Wake Forest team needs to be just looking and fiending and chomping at the bit to put those helmets and shoulder pads back on, because people are talking about them as if they weren't the Atlantic champs last year.
Yeah.
Like, you are not hearing anybody say, oh, yeah, Wake Forest has a chance to get back this year. They'll get better, and they've gotten older on defense. You know, another year with A.T. Perry is never a bad thing. Hartman is a guy that, for whatever reason, some folks really, really believe is a top 2 or 3 quarterback in this conference, which
Kenton, we don't have time. We know if anyone who's listened to the show long enough knows how you feel about quarterbacks. You are that's the position you are most critical. I will say
there has to be.
I'm just saying,
if you're saying the top 3 quarterbacks in the conference, there can only be 3 people. Is Hartman one of those for you?
For me, personally, no.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't say so. I think he's a good quarterback. This is a stacked ACC in terms of quarterbacks.
Okay, well, here we are. Who are your 3 quarterbacks?
I would probably go Devin Leary, Malik Cunningham, and 3 would be tough. 3 would be really tough, but it's really close between Tyler Van Dyke and Brennan Armstrong. But I probably would get a
nod. Tyler done gave you one good year.
That's why I said I'd probably get a nod to Brennan. Listen. Tyler Van Dyke, the only reason that Tyler Van Dyke was even in that conversation is because, like, while Sam Hartman's team were the champs, I don't believe that wins are a quarterback stat. And if you look at that offense, it's predicated on putting the defense in extremely tight binds with the RPO. It's predicated on the fact that, like, offensive players, for whatever reason, even if they're 6'5", can fully extend their arm away from corners and be like,
we don't have to wrap it up.
But again, I'm gonna tell you this though. The Wake Forest, go ahead and add this to your bulletin board too. Another one that's on this tape. That's not. I think that Wake Forest should be the favorite as they won it last year, and they have not lost all that much. They lost one of the best running backs in the nation in Kenneth Walker III, and won the division. That team needs to be. They need to be pissed off, motivated. They need to be, looking like everybody is just chewing on Alka-Seltzers for fun. Foaming at the mouth, ready to roll, based on what everybody is saying about them at this point.
No doubt about it. BetOnline is your number one source for all of your betting needs and sports info. It is a continued source for sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. BetOnline remains the number one spot for all of the podcast news that you want to find out this season. And as we're getting ready for college football, it is going to be the place to be to get all of your betting action in. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline is where the game starts. So we're wrapping up here with Kenton Gibbs of Locked On Wolfpack. And as we are talking about the top 3 teams in the Atlantic, we're going to touch quickly here on the coastal teams that will be talking to us on Thursday. And I wish I could give you this lovely list of top schools in the coastal that are ready and willing and going to be the best. And all I got for you is Miami. And even then, we're just going off wishes and prayers and thoughts and overhype because Mario Cristobal has brought in a hell of a crew. Tyler Van Dyke has had a hell of a freshman season. But, at the end of the day, it's a new year, new vibe, new people. You don't have Bubba Bolden on defense. You've got guys who are coming in who, is Tyler Van Dyke going to throw to? Those kind of questions. And I'm just sitting here saying, do you buy the Miami hype? Like, listen, we were buying into De'Aaron King Miami hype. We were like, okay, is he going to get healthy? Going to be in time? All that stuff. We were like, well, you could convince me. You got a healthy Tyler Van Dyke. You could convince me that Miami might be the one to beat in that coastal side.
Football, just like all sports, is about level of comparison. It's a lot like dating, okay? If your pool has a lot of bad, beautiful women, men who are like built like brick houses, make all the money in the world, it's gonna be polluted. Your expectation is gonna be man that's six figure, six pack, all that good stuff. But if your dating pool is not that, right? If it's the person that work at the Citgo, they got a little funny walk to them a little bit, that's what you're looking at with the coastal. That's why Miami is getting all this love, because you look around the coastal and you say, well, who else is going to get it done? The team that just lost their best quarterback in team history, who they could not win 8 games with when they came in as top 5. Who else are you going to look at? The Virginia team that Brennan Armstrong what, in the words of Barry White, he was their first, they last, they everything on offense. He did it all for that team. And yet Bronco Mendenhall is gone now. So you're asking yourself, how good can they be with a first-year head coach? You got Georgia Tech, who, I've said I think they're going to be better than people believe, and everybody called me crazy. But again, based on what I'm seeing out of the Coastal, I wouldn't. You got Duke football. I'm gonna leave it there. I ain't gonna say nothing else. Duke football.
Who are going to win more than 6 games. I wish everyone will stop hating on Duke. Coach Elko is really changing that program. I say it every day. I'm going to say it till the season's over. Y'all really are sleeping on Duke, and I hate that for y'all. I love Duke football, as we all know. We've come to find. Like, that really is my jam, and I hate it. Like, I really want to win so many bets this season, and the one, if you are listening to the show, you're familiar. Kenton and I have this bet on Duke football winning 6 games, and if they do, you going to run me what, 150?
150 what?
Dollars.
Well, you better go to BetOnline if you want that money. You better go to BetOnline.
We literally had this conversation.
Sure.
Don't renege now. Don't renege now.
Roll the tape. Again.
Okay.
You got okay, so wait a minute. I just thought about this. You got a first-year coach at Miami, first-year coach at Virginia, first-year coach at Virginia Tech.
First-year coach at Duke.
First-year coach at Duke. More than half of the division has first-year coaches. Ooh.
So, I mean, but at the end of the day, someone's going to fly. Somebody's going to, fall. At the end of the day, I think Tony Elliott is going to do a lot better than people think. I think that Mario Cristobal is going to just have to adjust. And, while I do think Tyler Van Dyke is going to be great, I think there's going to be a lot of eyes and pressure on Miami. And their fans probably are the most critical beyond this. Like, to me, it's like Miami and Florida State. Same kind of fans, intense. If it's not dubs, it's just trash. I think that's going to be really intense for him. So we'll see how he adjusts. But you got Michael Elko, who the bar is in hell. Like, you can go only but up.
After really examining.
Are you on my team now? Are you on my side?
After examining the Coastal, and realizing that literally half of that division over.
Go ahead and say it.
I would be shocked if Duke wins 6, and I'll pay up.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world.
Thank you.
The only teams bringing the coach back is Georgia Tech.
He's damn near out.
And North Carolina.
Who he's damn near retired.
And that's it. Oh, and Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, don't sleep on Coach Narduzzi. The ACC champions. That's terrible. That's really terrible, because that's how you know ACC last year was a fluke, because everyone's like, oh yeah, Pitt did win. Like, that's bad.
Well, it's not that. It's Pitt. Pitt had a mass exodus. What do you want us to do?
I'm just saying.
Went to the NFL. Addison is in USC now. Like, there was,
But Keaton Slovis is here. Like, they locked and reloaded. Okay, cool.
Ooh, Keaton Slovis. It's a scary sight.
I forget I'm talking to a defensive guy. I forget.
Scary hours for the conference, everybody. Yank your collars and fan yourself. Keaton Slovis is here. Again, I'll tell you this, though. Remember the same boat I said Wake Forest was in?
Yeah.
Pitt is going to be in that exact same spot. And I know Coach Narduzzi. As much as people call him a troll and a butthole and all that good stuff, that guy knows how to get a team motivated. And the way that everybody is acting like they did not win the entire conference, get to a New Year's Six bowl last year, I know they're going to be, they're going to come out with pitchforks and lemon juice next year. That team is going to be like a petrified woodpecker. Like a woodpecker in a petrified forest, just looking for work all day, every day. When they get to wear those pads on Saturdays and Thursdays. I already know about that Pitt team, what's going to happen.
No doubt. We had one really good comment that I want to make sure that we touch on before we get out of here. Mr. Tom Mades, I hope I got your name right. He said, I think the only thing that gets in the way of NC State getting 10 plus wins is the mental preparation required for winning, focusing on the opponent and their strengths, exploiting their weaknesses, and not making mental errors in the field. And to me, that wraps this up real nice, because that's what every team needs, not just NC State. I think you can't undersell any ACC opponent this season. I think you can't overkill it and think like, oh, well, they're just so good, blah, blah. I don't see any ACC team feeling too confident, but also being like they don't have a shot.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, this is the most parity we've seen in the conference. because the one top team has lowered a little bit, and all of the mid-level to like bad teams have kind of raised up a little bit. But the worst case scenario for the ACC as a whole is to be what these teams are looking like coming in. Like, let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. What a lot of these teams are looking like. Candace, we just talked about 2 coaches who are on their way out in terms of the Coastal. And then we got 4 new coaches. And then you go over to the Atlantic. And you got a couple more coaches who could be on their way out if there's a bad year here. Satterfield, if he has a bad year.
Nah, he's a recruiting machine now. He ain't going nowhere.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Dino, our boy Dino. Now, listen.
Dino. This is Dino's last one. I hate that for him. I'm gonna miss you, Dino.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna miss you,
Dino.
Dino is a steak well done on both sides. You understand? That man is cooked. He's done.
Continue.
I'm just saying. And then you look around the rest of the conference and you say, how many of these coaches really do have a job secure that aren't first year?
I think Coach Hafley has a job secure if he wants to stay.
Okay, Hafley, I don't know. Because hear me out.
Yes.
We thought that Hafley's, remember after Media Days last year what you said about Hafley?
I did.
And what did Hafley show you?
It wasn't his fault.
No disrespect, his quarterback was injured. One of the best quarterbacks in the conference coming in, we thought.
And they still almost beat Clemson with a backup quarterback. But Clemson wasn't giving us what they should have gave us last season.
Okay, so they almost beat Clemson, but how many other teams did they look real bad against?
It'd be like that. I get you. Okay.
We're talking Hafley. Now hold on now. Y'all just got rid of what was the gentleman's name? Ball guy had like 7 offensive linemen on the field on every play. Help me out.
Are you talking about Boston College?
Yeah.
Wasn't it is it Demario? It's something Italian, wasn't it?
It was wildly Italian. It's but their last head coach.
AJ.
AJ is looking at us. Really?
Caspazio. Something like Sazio.
Yes, it was. It was something along those lines. But again, we looked at him and said, all right, you're not getting the job done up there in BC. Hafley, it don't matter how many motivational speeches you give. It don't matter if you look like the coach that would win a fight out of all the ACC coaches. At some point in time, your boys got to win some football. They got to go out there and win some games. They got to go out there and be competitive in the Atlantic if he want to keep his job. So, again, if no team surprises us, if no team at the end of the year we're saying, wow, that was really good on them, this conference could be in for a rough year in terms of football.
100%.
Adazio, that was his name. Adazio. It was Adazio.
I told you. It was Azio Mazia. Either way it goes, we got to get out of here. Guys, it's always a pleasure. Again, if you want us to read your comments on the show, please hit us up on our YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe. We're almost to 500. I said if we get 1,000 by the start of the season, which is a couple weeks away, I would shave my head. So, if y'all really about it, just let me know. Like, I'm over here, been long here for a long time, but I'm ready to let it go. If we can get 1,000 subscribers by the start of football season, by week 0. There's that. Kenton Gibbs, you can find him at Locked On Wolfpack. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. He has some really good content out there. You can watch this anytime, or you can follow at Locked On ACC on Twitter. You can follow me at Candace Cooper and Kenton at TGIF_Kenton. All of the good vibes there. Make sure you come back again. We have ACC Media Day /Kickoff happening this week. Full of good content. A lot of good things coming your way. So don't want to miss out. For Candace Cooper and Kenton Gibbs, until next time.